Sunday night and Monday night on YouTube, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air here on Newstalk Sauga 960 AM. I am your current temporary guest host, Jose Taboada. You can follow me on social media at Taboada93. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat. And of course, don't forget that this show is brought to you by John Dawson's new album, Outlier, available wherever you get your music and available to stream on YouTube as well.
But not on Napster. I don't care for that.
Not on Napster, but also you're able to get his album on vinyl, 180 gram vinyl at johndawson.myshopify.com, along with some Outlier merch. Lex Tan was supposed to host. However, a power outage happened where he is at. So we said, let's start the show. He will take over when he comes back. But for now, we have the three of us here. To my right, we have the responsible one. We have an Extra Life streamer, Colin Dodge. You can find him at Risen72. Below me, you have our action figure collector. You can follow him on social media at Coco Collects, Mr. Chico Nuguid. And you have now the proper host, and my time as a host has quickly come to an end. The new record of 1 minute and 36 seconds.
Finally paid the power bill.
Host and producer. You can find him on social media at Lex Tan Media. Ladies and gentlemen, the proper host of Ringside Heat, Lex Tan. Lex.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? How are all of you guys doing right now?
Fantastic. We promoted the socials, promoted John's album, and just here laughing at the fact that he lost power for a split second, and we realized we had to start. So I took over as a ferocious leader.
Well, that shows initiative, and that shows that the show must go on.
Exactly. So I did the intro for you, but yes, you are clear to take the reins from here, Mr. Lex.
I just have one question before Lex takes over. You mentioned about John's album Outlier, which you can get once again at any streaming audio sources and on vinyl as well. I don't know much about vinyl records, but what are you talking about, grams? Is this like when you make a recipe or something? And
no,
I have no idea how that
correct
works.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Lex. It's 180 gram vinyl, or is that?
What does that mean? Sorry, you're educating Chico.
The
weight of the vinyl,
right? Yeah.
Are there different weights?
I'm not sure. I'm not a vinyl guy either. I mean, I'm going to get it because I do have a vinyl player here in my house that I don't use. Obviously that is the perfect album to use it for. But I know
Which
it's been promoted.
John Dawson's Outlier, yes.
Of course. But I know it's been promoted as an 180 gram vinyl that's available to purchase for John Dawson. But again, I presume it's the weight. I don't think that's a specific vinyl term, but Lex, we have it here as the thunder has now hit my area. So if I'm gone, Lex.
Yep, that's right. When you have extreme weather alerts like this that are happening in the city of Toronto right now, it's always got a little bit of an adventure because we're not used to having power and internet go out anymore in this day and age. But 180 gram vinyl, it's about weight. The vast majority of 12-inch records have been pressed in the 20th century weigh between 120 and 140 grams. So John's 180 gram vinyl, by contrast, is significantly thicker and heavier, creating a product that is widely considered to be audiophile grade, meaning that it's like it's for you. It's for audio nerds, basically. So
right, you don't lose any of the quality that it was recorded with, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And so some new releases and re-releases are pressed on platters as heavy as 200 grams these days as well. So it's widely considered that like the thicker the vinyl platter, the better your audio quality will be.
So John's album is not just a collection of beautiful music, but it's also a robust record.
It is, exactly, and he wants the vinyl, if you use it and play it regularly, to last as long as it possibly can. And
fantastic.
And these and I mean, like, my dad has records from like the 50s and the 60s and the 70s that are still, you can put them on the record player and they'll still sound awesome. Beatles records from from that time. Wow, like I love the fact that he's got Beatles records from that time.
I've said this before. First of all, I think I have some vinyls that I probably should pop in and see if they're good. I forgot who we have. I think there's ABBA. I think lurking somewhere in the house. I don't know.
I'm sure they're good.
But look, I've said this on Ringside Heat before, and I know this is a wrestling podcast, but obviously, we generally want to keep promoting John. It's not just because we're his buddies, or not just because it's the quote unquote cheap plug. It's just because it is a really fun listening experience. and I've said this before, like I said, physical media over everything, all the time. Always a big fan of physical media. And I think getting that in vinyl sounds really, really cool. So again, johndawson.myshopify.com where you can get your vinyls and your Outlier merch. And he's gone again. So I am back hosting this show. Wait, no, let's call him that.
No, wrong one.
Damn,
Nova
I got excited. I'm so sorry. I got Jesus Christ.
Is my savior. Yes, I love that guy. Yeah.
So if you're listening right now on Sauga 960 AM on the radio and on Spotify or even on YouTube, we're recording right now on Saturday afternoon, 1:25-ish p.m. and it's really coming down the extreme or the heavy rain weather event that Environment Canada has been warning us about is taking place, and which is the reason why lightning strikes are happening, like as if you were a Toronto Blue Jay at Tampa Bay's Tropicana Field, and kaboom! And if you remember that, Jose.
Yes. Who was it? It was Melky Cabrera. Yeah, it was Melky.
Wow, that's a name.
Hey, look on your social media today, Chico. I am not sure if it was your personal or if it was your
my personal one. Yes.
Collects, but the fact that you brought up Munenori Kawasaki because of his monkey cramp
banana
ranter.
Yep. Oh my God. I had a calf cramp, just for people who of course don't see that. I had a calf cramp, and the first thing this was 5 a.m. So the first thing that popped into my mind was monkeys never cramps. I don't know why. It just went there as I was like shouting in pain because my calf was on fire.
I am very happy that after that year he would end up to go win a World Series with the Chicago Cubs, which is insane to say, but he does have a World Series ring, so
he's a champ. He's a
good.
champ.
Good on Kawasaki.
Yes, and you know what? You're listening to Ringside Heat here on Sauga 960 AM, your favorite podcatcher, as well as on YouTube. I believe Colin is back into the chat here, and we will take a break. Actually, now that Colin's back, we are going to take a break, and and we'll reset and we'll actually talk some wrestling. But remember that this episode of Ringside Heat is brought to you by John Dawson's Outlier. Make sure you download and stream it from any of your favorite music streaming apps, as well. Buy the 180-gram vinyl, which we talked about earlier today, on John Dawson Music.myshopify.com, and buy the t-shirts as well, because they're awesome, cool t-shirts. They're very comfortable, and the artwork is awesome. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk wrestling after these promotional considerations.
Rest assured, I will greet you.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Sauga 960 AM, your favorite podcatcher, as well as on YouTube. My name is Lex Tan. Follow the show at Ringside_Heat. Follow me at Lex Tan Media. And of course, we've got the we're a 4-man ring crew here today with at Taboada 93, Jose Taboada, at Coco Collects, Chico Nuguid, and at Risen72, Colin Dodge. And for this particular segment here, we want to talk about Afa Anoa'i, who passed away last Friday. His death was announced last Friday, and another great loss for the wrestling world, another great loss for the Anoa'i family, who proliferate the wrestling business, in particular the WWE, but also, all different facets of this wrestling business as well. So his birth name, just a few short facts about him right here. His birth name is Gataivasa Afa Amituana'i Anoa'i, born November the 21st, 1942 in the territory of Western Samoa, and died in Pennsylvania, United States. His spouse was Lynn Anoa'i, whom he married in 1960. His children, 7, including Afa Jr., Lloyd, and Samula. And of course, he is part of the that Anoa'i wrestling family, built from the Isle of Samoa, trained by Peter Maivia, Rocky Johnson, and Kurt von Steiger as well. championships and accomplishments. Just countless stuff. But in the World Wrestling Federation, he was the WWF Tag Team Champion 3 times with Sika. And he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2007, Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2012, inducted as a member of the Wild Samoans, and just great success with the NWA, Georgia Championship Wrestling, World Wrestling Council, Big Time Wrestling, lots of NWA championships as well. So, so I know Chico was sharing earlier this week about his, his encounter watching the WWF product with the Wild Samoans. So, what do we start with that?
So, yeah, sure. Myself being born in the early 80s, I guess some of my earliest strong memories of wrestling isn't just from the late 80s, but the early 90s. And that was the new generation era. And part of that, or at least going into it, was the Head Shrinkers as WWF Tag Team Champions. And, you say what you will about stereotypes and, people from Samoa performing as certain character archetypes. But I mean, it's entertainment, so those things are going to happen. And what I was going to lead up to is that Afa really made an impact, and some very, very strong memories of him guiding, my gosh, what were their names back then? Samu. I think Roman Reigns' uncle or cousin or something. I keep forgetting who's who. But Samu was tagging with who was then known as Fatu, would later be known as Rikishi. So it was Samu and Fatu as the Head Shrinkers. And I remember they originally came in with no boots on. And that was one of my earliest strong memories of barefoot wrestlers in the World Wrestling Federation. And the guy that was bringing them in was Afa. And so they had very tribal characters, like, for lack of a better term, they were portrayed kind of like savages, like, like less civilized, less modernized persons. Of course, those are just characters, but just he was so all in on the work that I believed all of it, and it really looked like they were chowing down on some raw fish on camera. Like, I remember that because
wow,
it grossed me out.
They were so intimidating. I remember that's when I was watching as well. And you're like, once they were coming to the ring, like, it's bad news for whoever's in the ring with them. So, you knew that there was some hurt gonna happen. Like, these guys are here.
Yeah, and of course, growing a little older in my wrestling fandom later on, I'm like, wow, he talks just like a straight up American person. Like, just seeing interviews, and so like you start peeling back the curtain as sort of a more mature fan or a more tenured fan, and then you kind of adjust to that, as I learned. But yeah, I remember childhood memories during the New Generation era. Pre-Boots Head Shrinkers were guided by Afa, and so he was the half of the Wild Samoans that I knew much, much better, because he was such a part of my early childhood appreciation of pro wrestling. So rest in peace, Afa, and my condolences to the entire Anuai clan, who've lost now both of the Wild Samoans, tag team partners to the end, I guess. I mean, very close in timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting factoid about Afa. He was actually the wrestling trainer for Darren Aronofsky's 2008 film The Wrestler. So he was the guy that actually was training and working with Mickey Rourke.
Like in-house guy, I guess, who was like
the in-house guy, kind of like the way that Chavo Guerrero was the wrestling trainer for what's that the
Iron Claw for Glow.
For Glow. Yeah,
for Glow.
Oh, Iron Claw.
I didn't know he did Glow. I know he did Iron Claw for sure.
Oh,
he did Glow.
I didn't know he did Iron Claw. There we go.
He did. Yeah. He was working closely.
I know
with
he had a part in both.
Yeah. So one thing that's really cool as well about post WWF career, Afa and Lynn Anua'i back in 1999 started the Usos Foundation, a nonprofit organization aiming to turn youth away from drugs, gangs, and poverty by providing scholarships to the Wild Samoans Training Center. So, so he used wrestling as a way to help troubled youth better themselves, and that's something that looks like the way that I guess Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman kind of took that to heart as well, because look what we saw with the Usos pre-bloodline. They were getting into their own troubles themselves, even though they were prominent people on the roster. But after Roman and Paul wanted to do the bloodline thing, they seem to have cleaned up their act after that. So
I'm pretty sure as well, like Rikishi is another example of like being taken in by the Wild Samoans and kind of like shaping, and then kind of like doing the 180. I think at 17 he was technically, he was legally dead for 3 minutes. I learned that on Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
he was legally dead for 3 minutes. Was revived, and then from there they said I need to do something, and the Samoans said, "You're wrestling, let's go." And I guess obviously flips his life for the better with how well we know him today. But it's examples like that of how strong of an influence the Afa and Sika were.
I think that extends to even Jacob Fatu, because he's got some well-documented troubles in the past, and eventually he kind of came back around to the family business and said, I got to do this for my, 9 kids or something like that, and his wife. Like he had to turn it around too, and he kind of what he had previously taken for granted as the family business of wrestling, he kind of dove more into it. I'm pretty sure the Wild Samoans had something to do with that too. So, I mean, they take care of their own, and they've really, their influence echoes so deeply in today's pro wrestling. I mean, even Beth Phoenix was affected deeply. She posted about Afa's loss as well, because I think that she may have had time training under Afa at least some point in her training. So a lot of influence there. I'm pretty sure this was their last appearance, but to have Afa and Sika, Roman's dad and Roman's uncle, give him the necklace. Yeah.
Thank you. I was not going to attempt to pronounce that.
Yeah.
But that was their final appearance, right? I'm pretty sure there was on TV. And so now, I mean, I'm sure it already was already impactful, but now that they're both gone, especially within a month of each other, it feels like, what a beautiful final TV appearance to do that with their son and nephew. To
getting goosebumps, man. That was
literally
good night.
It's that scene, that moment is now more powerful than ever with the Anoa'i legacy. And obviously Roman Reigns took it and ran with it, and as he's finally getting cheers storyline aside. But it's examples like that go to show you that it's their influence runs high, and when it's translated on TV for storyline purposes, it works out to perfection. And so what a beautiful. That's my only memory of the Wild Samoans, because again, I'm obviously younger than you guys, and I didn't grow up with
even before my time, dude. I mean,
even
I didn't grow up with them either.
Right, and I mean. And even when I started watching, the WWF, right, it was Rikishi. It wasn't his take as a Wild Samoan, right? So it was too cool. So I never really, I never dove into it. So I'm happy that I saw that Afa and Sika moment, in my current timeline, and just kind of be amazed at how important the legacy is. So tough loss indeed.
Also, a Canadian factoid over here. Early in their career, they actually were trained by Stu Hart and attended attended the dungeon. So they were actually part of Stampede Wrestling for a time, and did win the Stampede Wrestling International Tag Team Championship twice together as the Wild Samoans. So again, amazing. It's like those families. It's amazing how wrestling is such a family business when you really break it down.
It's scary sometimes when you look at the bigger picture. I mean, the Anoa'is, the Hearts, you could even argue Flair, even at
the Knights.
It's
Von Erichs.
The Von
Erichs, yes.
Yep.
It's insane because I know people say nepotism and it's unfair because they have their legacy, so obviously you're going to get such a big push, but they do it right. That's the thing; they're good. So
they earn
it.
Yeah.
So I can't really say, blah, blah, blah. Other people won't get opportunities because they're not Samoan or they're not a Hart or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but they're damn good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a product of that at WrestleMania 40. So
just thank them for the house and do your best. That's all that you got to do, you know?
Yeah. They might get a foot in the door, but they themselves have to make sure they stay there because
I mean, not every one of them stays in. Sorry, Colin.
Yeah, when it comes down to the fans receiving you, the fans have to care that you're there one way or another. So, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of them have come in and out too, and not 100% success, but I mean, some of them have many chances to do so. Like, Deuce and Domino, one of those guys was a Samoan as well, and Manu from he became part of Legacy at some point. That he was from that family too, so not everyone gets to stay in, but I mean, sure, you could talk a little nepotism here and there, but again, like Jose said, I'll double down on that. They do it right, they earn it. They go through their own school of hard knocks. And then if you have the opportunity to rub up against that momentum, then it just lifts your gimmick as well. Sami Zayn, right? So, I mean, a lot of good can come from their legacy coming to full fruition. So, I mean, we're seeing it now. So, man, what a loss for the wrestling world, Alpha and Sika.
I think
is he frozen?
Lex froze again, so it's my time to shine.
What a transition.
I feel like we've said all that we could about Appa and Sika, and so of course, once again, our condolences to the entire Anoa'i family, to the entire wrestling community, and I think also as well, SmackDown had an incredible tribute this past Friday to Appa. And I mean, the WWE does their packages right, thankfully. Again, like I said, as somebody who didn't grow up with it, and I saw this with Sika's tribute as well. It's insane that I feel like I missed out a lot. You could argue born in the wrong time period, and I know people say that a lot about music or movies or whatever, but it's they had such a rich history, and this is definitely a tough loss. So again, our condolences to everybody affected, and I'm sure that today's generations of the Anoa'is, Roman, the Usos, and then eventually Jacob is gonna carry that strong, and Solo, I guess. So I think for now, I think what we're going to do is because of this impromptu freeze here, we're going to see where Lex is at. We're going to take a quick break here on Sauga 96 AM. Of course, follow us on all the social medias at Ringside_Heat. And of course, don't forget that this episode is brought to you by John Dawson and his new album Outlier, which you can get wherever you get your music. When we come back, All In is coming very, very soon. And of course, we already know the destination of next year's All In, but we're going to focus on what's going to happen next week at Wembley Stadium. I'll listen more when we come back.
When the daylight's done, with me here, you're not so all alone. With me here, you're not so. Rest assured, I will greet you.
And welcome back to Ringside here on News Talk Sauga 960 AM. I am your now temporary guest host once again, Jose Taboada. You can find me on social media at Taboada93, joined by the responsible one at Risen72, Mr. Colin Dodge, and our action figure collector. You can find him at Coca Collects, Mr. Chico Nuguid. Again, if you were listening from the beginning of the show and you suddenly wondered, where's Lex? Well, first of all, you should be happy with me. Second, from what it sounds like, again, he is having some electrical issues over where he's at. I believe he's at the station, if I'm not mistaken, at the time of this recording. He's
in
somewhere.
A bunker somewhere. I don't know. Yeah.
So he is trying to get that settled. If he comes back while we're talking about our next segment, then okay, fine, he can come and host. But you all know that you love me. You all know that you're happy to hear my voice and just soak in my glory. Gentlemen, thoughts? Agreed? Yes?
Hey, are you in the same basic part of Toronto as Lex's studio work?
No, I'm about
parts of the city.
No, I'm about.
Are you both in Etobicoke?
No, I'm not in Etobicoke. I'm just east of Etobicoke. Let's play where this was. I'm just east of Etobicoke.
What's your address?
No, not going that far. You know what? Okay, anyway, because I'm just amazed that you haven't gone out yet, and he's been going out a couple times.
I'm between Etobicoke. I'm like after, like Etobicoke's between me and Lex and Mississauga. So I'm not 100% sure either. But again, we hope that he's well. We hope that he's warm and has all the power in the world in the future. But for now, we talk. We're gonna shift our attention to our AEW expert, Mr. Colin Dodge, because next week, my friends, it is AEW All In at Wembley Stadium for now, the last time, because this past week they did announce that All In 2025 will be at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Another big gamble for AEW, and look who's back. I can't even enjoy a full segment, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Lex Tan. I forget, he's still blurry. So we are going to talk about AEW All In 2024. For now, 9 matches on the card. One of those being a pre-show. A quick rundown. A mixed tag team match: Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. And then the matches, the proper matches, the main card begin. Timeless Toni Storm takes on the Glamour Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship.
One of the top matches to watch. That's going to be an amazing match.
MJF defends his AEW American Championship against Will Ospreay. The TNT Championship match is on the line. Jack Perry, Darby Allin in a coffin match. Well, that sounds intriguing. The AEW TBS Championship on the line. Mercedes Moné defends her title against Britt Baker, which, again, I think I'm intrigued to hear about that one. Orange Cassidy does not know who his opponent is, according to this list that I'm looking at, Colin, in a casino gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match. But again, his opponent is not known. So I think that's maybe an area that Colin's going to want to elaborate on a little bit.
Gauntlet meaning
still got a week of TV for that to be figured out. So
multiple opponents, though? Gauntlet?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole gauntlet thing. It's going to be running through. So, you finish one guy, the next guy comes out.
Okay.
That's interesting then. A last chance match for the FTW Championship. Chris Jericho versus Hook. If Hook loses, he can never challenge for that championship for as long as Chris Jericho is champion. The AEW World Tag Team Champion, World Tag Team titles are on the line. The Young Bucks versus FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, and or the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. So again, or is a key note there. I presume
will
there's
be
number
determined
one
on Wednesday. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And of course,
something like that.
Yeah, we don't know the future. So folks, if you're listening to this on Thursday, we recorded this over the weekend. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, give us a break.
Throw us a bone here. And of course,
we're barely keeping the lights on over here. Come on.
Yeah. And last but not least, a match that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yes.
The AEW World Championship. Swerve Strickland versus Daniel Bryan. Title versus career.
Who's that?
Ooh, yeah.
Don't tell me I said Daniel Bryan again.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
You did.
Brian
Think alphabetically.
Danielson.
Bryan Danielson.
Colin, what are you looking forward to AEW All In? Let's start us off, and I'll say Bryan Danielson's name 55 times so it stays in my head. Colin.
I just say Bryanson Danielson, and then that just covers all bases. So.
There it is.
But I will say, before Colin goes on, Jose, you're not alone in that. I hear Tommy Dreamer mix that up all the time.
It's too easy to mix
not
up.
Just you. Not
it's
just you.
too
If
easy.
Dreamer can't keep it straight, why do we have to? So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because I am a host and I am professional and I want to be as powerful as I can be to take over this job. I'm kidding. Colin, go for it.
I mean, if you want to fill more time, I mean. All right. If there's only 2 matches to watch on this pay-per-view, that's right, pay-per-view, because that's what it is. It's Timeless Toni Storm versus the Glamour Mariah May, and of course, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Those are the 2 to watch. If you can only watch 2, if you can watch 3, MJF and Will Ospreay, throw that on the list as well. I'm going to be hypercritical of this coffin match because I'm a forever fan of The Undertaker, so I don't know what this nonsense is supposed to be. But provided, they don't need transfusions of the blood loss after the match, it might be good. Who knows with those two, right? So it's, they're going to make up for Mox not being on the card so far. Mercedes Moné, definitely more comfortable in her heel role. I still don't really care, though, but at least Britt Baker is back. So, however, I can't see Britt Baker winning.
Really?
She can survive the loss. Mercedes Moné is still the big acquisition. She more or less just got the title. I think this is supposed to be a long-term feud for now because there's really not much else happening in the TBS division, especially for the women.
Well, Colin, you, I guess we didn't mention that recent acquisition as well, or a recent debut on AEW programming would be the former NWA Women's World Champion Camille.
Yes.
And she would be the heavy at the moment, right, for Mercedes Moné. So I think that was for a reason. I think that'll get Mercedes the victory through shady means. Of course, she's a heel.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you say, Britt can survive it, and Mercedes should probably get the Duke.
They might do the speed run version of Diesel and Shawn, and Camille could turn on Mercedes real quick. Who knows? It's
maybe.
Yeah, it's a rich tapestry of possibilities.
That's right.
Orange Cassidy is always fun. He's in the middle of being sad, all alone, no friends. Orange Cassidy, everybody turned on him kind of thing. So, it's interesting. He doesn't seem to be almost joining the Don Callis family anymore. So who knows? We'll see. Chris Jericho, man, this learning tree thing should not work. And it's working on me.
Well, it's Chris Jericho. He's found ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that Chris Jericho does that technically should not work because it's Chris Jericho. Because it's Chris Jericho.
Find a way.
Yeah, but I would say it works because it's Chris Jericho. Like, wait,
exactly.
I don't know why I thought you said. I don't know why you said it doesn't work because it's Chris Jericho. I'm like, wait, what? No,
he's saying it shouldn't work on paper,
but
then Jericho does it.
Right. Like Guardians of the Galaxy shouldn't have worked. Ant-Man shouldn't have worked, but keep people in the right spot. It worked.
That's right. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Wow, what an extrapolation.
It's all
can I say one thing about the FTW championship match? I'm so tired of seeing the FTW championship.
Yeah.
It's not a real title. It should be gone. Just let it be gone.
Yeah. It's not a great device anymore for these rivalries that could be happening. Like, I'm all fine with this match happening, but the FTW part, I mean, aside from Hook ever having it, who cares about it?
I mean, if anything, the most entertainment value it's gotten is in the hands of Chris Jericho calling it for the World Championship.
For the world?
So funny.
But even the Taz being upset at commentary, it's not even funny anymore. It doesn't matter.
No.
So, just get
retire it.
But again, a match that shouldn't work. I mean, they renamed him the Redwood, and who cares about Big Bill before this? Yeah, he's the Redwood.
Oh, okay.
And Brian Keith is the Bad Apple. You see, they're all
tree references.
Trees.
I get
tree
it.
References. Again, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't work at all.
I have no comments.
Yeah.
No words. I have any comments on that. I don't think I have any other words for that.
The one match that doesn't matter, in my opinion, is the tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Sorry, Bucks.
The Bucks are hardly even on TV anymore, which is great. I am not complaining. And but that championship means nothing now.
But Colin, we don't have enough super kicks. We don't have enough super kicks.
That's the thing. There's not even a lot of super kicks anymore. It's
why?
Yeah, I just have to watch old late 90s WWE clips for all my super kicks now. So it's I mean, the Acclaimed are finally a bit more serious, so they're slightly more interesting to watch. But again, it doesn't matter. And FTR, like, are you running out your contract? Are you going to get one more title run? It's all very tired, and the division's hurting. The new up and comers aren't that title shot fast enough. Really, it's really just these three teams, and especially with Penta and Phoenix possibly not renewing their contracts and going somewhere else, could be. I would be very upset if they left. I would miss them dearly, but I mean, I get it. You're a successful tag team. go where the work is, So get a better deal. No, I have no problems with that. And yeah, the fantastic match. Either Bryan Danielson is going to put over Swerve, which would be amazing for Swerve, or he's getting the final, like, go out on a win kind of thing. I don't see him really doing a long run after this. But to end at Wembley, like, that's a big stage to end on.
That's my mindset. And that's what I wanted to bring up myself is that the talks about retirement have been all over the place recently, and I think even he doesn't know what he wants to do himself.
Well, he even says he's gonna have surgery after All In.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor right there.
I think regardless of even before I knew that, I was gonna pick Swerve regardless because I didn't see Daniel Bryan having a long title run, and to be honest with you, I think unlike his WWE scenario where he won the championship again, this is not a time when I don't think he really needs it.
No, he definitely doesn't need it.
It's Swerve's. This is still Swerve's time.
Yeah.
Continue the reign. I don't see the purpose of wanting to hand it over to Danielson for the sake of potentially ending out his career on a high. He's got the main event of Wembley.
Yeah.
Now,
what
I don't know how
you want there, in my opinion, but.
Yeah, I don't know how good guy, bad guy stuff works in AEW lately, but would it be plausible that Swerve cheats to win? Because I know that he's a good guy champ, but is he gonna sneak a victory?
He's not exactly.
I hear thunder in my part of town now. Sorry, I just said. Sorry, I hear thunder and it's getting pretty wild outside now. You might lose me soon.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Swerve isn't actually completely a good guy champ. He was a good guy champ for Blood and Guts because it was AEW versus the Elite. And so he was leading the AEW team. But he is full heel right now going into this Bryan match. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's absolutely full heel. And this is very much like the end of the victory lap for Bryan is how it's being approached in the last promos they've had. A match Swerve just had. He dismantled Yuta, who hasn't, but he dismantled Wheeler Yuta, and when Bryan came out to help, Swerve did a Swerve attacked him from behind and stuff. Yeah, poor Yuta. They finally took that belt off him, though.
ROH Pure Championship?
Yes, finally brought him back from injury.
Didn't realize. Wow, I guess before he gets injured again or something.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, he's got to do the favors about Bryan.
Do you think that Bryan Danielson would go for the Toronto Trish Stratus thing, where it's not his hometown, but go out on a world championship victory, retire?
I think
I don't know. I feel weird about that.
Belt too much.
It
just
cheapens
to
it. Okay,
vacate it and do a tournament. You know what I mean? I really think the smart play. This is the best way to continue putting Swerve over.
Yeah.
He's going to be facing Hangman again. As much as I don't want that to happen.
Who does?
No, I don't want that to happen either.
The greatest rivalry that Swerve has ever had is with Hangman Page.
My worry as well is that let's say they do the what Chico just proposed. Daniel Bryan wins. Bryan Danielson wins. Bryan Danielson wins.
Yeah. Bree's husband, yes.
Retire and then retires. I feel like that's such a slap in the face of Swerve's reign.
Yes, exactly.
It's like why? Like I can totally see AEW being like, okay, we'll just have him win the tournament and get the title back, and now he's a 2-time champ. You're creating and wasting everybody's time, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and I love Bryan Danielson. I was at his WrestleMania 35, the moment he put Kofi over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and and then he did his job right in that moment, and it was worked out to perfection. And I can see this again happening at Wembley, conveniently also in a stadium.
Yep. They need to prove that they are all in on Swerve Strickland. See what I did there?
Sure. Good place to do it. Good
and
time.
we hope that you're all in to our live stream on that day, Sunday afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern is the start time for All In Wembley, which will be we'll have to figure out timing for our episodes, because that episode that night will definitely not have our All In review. That will be the following week. Unless All Out interferes. Really weird scheduling, folks. I don't know. What do you want me to do here? So again,
All Out's a question mark right now. We'll say
join us for our live stream. Colin will spearhead that as usual. Again, that is Sunday, August 25th, 12 o'clock Eastern. We will be going live. I think that's a start time of the pay-per-view, if not the pre-show. But we are live streaming again, and then we will have our Ringside episode later on the night on Sauga 960 live at 7 o'clock, which again will not feature the results of and a review of AEW All In due to the time difference and the fact that AEW still has the audacity to do pay-per-views on Sundays. Boy, Saturday is such a game changer. Saturday is so big. So
Jose, it sounds like you have a lot of questions. You know who might have the answers to some of those? Lex Tan, maybe?
Yeah, our host is here, but
he's back.
He's been blurred in and out. You may have heard him bits and pieces there. So I'm for now taking the reins just in case. But Lex, what is our game plan to work around next weekend's All In?
Well, we'll figure. Well, that's something that we'll have to figure out later on in the week, honestly, because because there's right now. I mean, like I'm running my stream right now off of my data plan at the moment. So that's thank God I have 50 gigabytes of data. So I'm okay. I'm okay so far, and my turnaround date is not too far away. So I'm good. But
you're at about 80% okay.
Yeah, it's not going well right now, to be honest with you. I don't know how that's going to translate.
I heard you.
We heard you,
thunder.
but it definitely, it's not.
So you can hear me, but the video's choppy though.
The video's choppy, and the audio
and your audio was a little.
Yeah, it's not.
But we got your full sentences.
Yes, we did get the sentence we did get the sentence of trying to figure out a plan ended up being the exact same thing that I said. Yes.
That's great.
We did have that across. So we're going to do now then, again, this is really rare for us here at Ringside Heat, which we don't do often. We're going to take a third break, a really rare third break here on Ringside Heat. We're going to figure out Lex's current situation to keep the recording going. But again, we will be back. For now, again, this show is brought to you by John Dawson's new album Outlier, available wherever you get your wherever you stream your music, and of course available on 180 gram vinyl, and along with merch at johndawsonmusic.myshopify.com. We will be back after this break.
When the daylight's done, with me you're not so all alone. With me, you're not so. Rest assured, I will greet you.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat, co-hosted by Lex Tan and Jose Taboada.
Brought to you by shaky internet
and thunderstorms.
It's folks. I'm sorry, but if you watch this on YouTube, Colin saying shaky internet, he was frozen on the video screen when he said that. So that is just hilarious timing.
But now he and Colin and Lex are both like clear as day now. Interesting.
Yep. What a time to be alive.
In different provinces.
Indeed.
Who knows?
Follow us on all the socials at Ringside_Heat. Again, at Taboada 93, Jose Taboada, Risen 72, Colin Dodge, Lex Tan Media, co-host Lex Tan, and at Coca-Cola X, Chico Nuguid, brought to you by John Dawson's album Outlier, available wherever you stream your music. Lex,
what a record.
So yes, so yeah. First of all, just to we're about to end the show over here. We have a few minutes left. So first of all, I want to shout out everybody at Chaos Pro Wrestling and the show that we put on last Sunday. It was supposed to be at Newmarket, but things happened with the venue, and they promptly relocated over to Vaughan, Ontario, at a gym that's headed by a guy named Mason Rush. Mason Rush, thank you so much for that. And so So congratulations to everybody doing that show and for putting on that show. Mason Rush, Van Landen, Connor, Connor Craggs, John Crew, Ronti Legend, AC Fitz, who we have a great feud going on right now. Gunnar Lang, Kobe Durst, Aaron Uno, Andrew Love, who's the head of Chaos Pro Wrestling, and Ashton Shade, and as well Darren from New Anthem. New Anthem as well played. Ronti Legend, the mayor of professional wrestling, and Owen Klein. Everybody else who's been involved as well. Thank you so much for letting me be part of that show, and we'll do this again sometime soon. But you'll be seeing those guys as well over at the CNE when it's not raining and not thunderstorming, because Classic Championship Wrestling is putting on 3 events daily at the CNE, 3 wrestling events. So that's like 54 shows or something like that. Wow. I was talking with Clash Kincaid and Rex the Boot Atkins, and they're all going to be doing all of those shows, wrestling 3 matches a day for the next 2 weeks. So
where specifically amazing. At the CNE? The Canadian National Exhibition, for those that don't know, by the way, our yearly citywide fair. Oh, tons of fun.
Yeah,
always
2 weeks.
Always a good time.
2 weeks of fun.
Oh, I missed the X.
Mm-hmm. Last year they were just to the west of the transit hub, so just across from BMO Field, just a little bit west there. That's where they were last year. I'll have to confirm where they actually are, because I'll also be there hanging out with them and seeing and getting interviews with the wrestlers that are going to be there, and including there are big wrestling celebrities such as Jacques Rougeau the Mountie, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Tito Santana is going to be over there as well. Jerry the King Lawler is going to be there the last weekend of the X. So it's going to be amazing. First of all, that Jerry the King Lawler is healthy enough to be able to go out and do stuff after his health problems. So it's great that Toronto is going to get to see Jerry Lawler. So you'll be able to see all of the names that we've been talking about here on the Ontario independent wrestling scene at CCW's shows over at the CNE. It's free wrestling, so come out and support that. Just get admission to the X and stick by ringside. You'll have a great time. These wrestlers are hardworking. These wrestlers are such great people to work with. And also for Clash Kincaid, expect us to have a little episode of his own podcast called Radio Clash that's going to be debuting this week, and he'll be talking about stuff with Rex the Booth Atkins and Ryan Donovan as well. So it'll be a fun night of podcasting this week, and lots of things that are going to be popping up, possibly a podcasting network with Ringside Geek. Who knows? That's something that's going to be quite exciting. Wow. So I'm glad to be able to work with these guys. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, and also for the South Oshawa Combat Club, aka us, a whole bunch of dudes just wrestling in a ring outside of the Melody rehearsal studio. That's what they call it now.
So folks, go check out the CNE. It's 17 days or 18 days of fun. If you're on if you missed the Olympics, remember every year in Toronto we have our own 17, 18 days of pure fun activity and sportsmanship, and trying to win a bunch of plush dolls that you can probably find for cheaper online. Yep. But you know what? It's the experience, and it's the fact that I've won a couple of games at the CNE. Always a good time. Throwing a baseball to smash a couple plates. I've won some Pikachus in my life. I've won some.
I've worked at the. I've worked at the CNE food building.
What
is that?
I
fortune cookie. Huh.
It's a fortune cookie plush that says that says I'm gonna win many prizes. So I wanted to the CNE.
Use it as a travel pillow. Looks like.
I guess, but the point is, folks. I don't know, but yeah, so a lot of crazy foods at the CNE with the food building. A lot of fun games. A lot of rides that were set up for a couple weeks. So please be safe, and a casino.
Yep.
But CNE is always a fun time, folks. So folks, and if there's wrestling there, which I had no idea about, and I'm going to look for that when I go next week, do recommend.
Yep.
And concerts. It's good for concerts.
Exactly. Yeah. And it continues the tradition of professional wrestling for free at the CNE all the way back. I remember 20 years ago going to shows with my sisters and my brother, watching Apocalypse Wrestling Federation over there. So,
yes, wow, what a callback!
Yeah, so it's a tradition over there. So it's great that the CNE loves its wrestling and continues. And this is like the biggest. These are the biggest wrestling shows right now for the independent community here in Ontario. And so come out, support great live professional wrestling. Thank you so much to Jose. Thank you so much to Colin. Thank you so much to Chico. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in on this rainy day episode of Ringside Heat. I'm Lex Tan. Follow Ringside Heat at Ringside_Heat on all of the social media. And remember that this episode is brought to you by John Dawson's Outlier. All of your music streaming sites, as well as the 180-gram vinyl on johndawsonmusic.myshopify.com. This is Ringside Heat, and remember, we remember the things that you probably forgot.
Like Daniel Bryan's name.